When you hear this sound, that means turn the page. And now we begin our exciting adventure of...
Ooh, child, them Hannibals and them OneYoungsters. Now, they some bad boys, but you ain't heard that from me. Yo, what up? Lay Ill Kid at OneYoungsta doing his thing, holding it down VA2LA, and I'm here with my boy Hannibal Tabu. Now, this dude is one of the illest writers in the game, but I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Yo, what's up, Hannibal?
Man, I can't call it. Can't even call it.
All right, well, check it. You here on Chopping It Up Geek, and this is an episode of Cold Chillin', so I gotta open it up with the same thing we always open with, which is, who is your favorite superhero and why?
My favorite superhero?
Yep, or heroine.
Okay, but they have to be, like, not a villain. Okay.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Sorry. I guess I would have to say the Blue Marvel. Yeah, because despite the fact that he made a decision I couldn't agree with, in standing down for decades, you know, he's power and possibility and all that wrapped into one thing. Yeah.
All right, now, when you say he stepped down, what did he step down for?
Well, if you remember in the miniseries, he was he had operated with a mask on for many years, and you know, one day he was in a fight, super fight, and his mask broke, and this was in the '60s, right? Yeah. And they saw, oh my God, he's a Negro, and you know, they flipped out that somebody this powerful and this ridiculous was a Negro. So JFK said, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you to chill, player." And he was like, "Buh, buh, buh." And he was like, yeah, it just, you know, white people, you know how we are. So I was like, dang. So then he was mad about it, and he went home with his white wife and minded his own business.
Wow. I remember, like, I've completely forgot about that, but you're right. Yeah, he was in that big fight. Everybody found out he was black, and then he was like, all right, y'all, I'm out.
Yeah, and he did. In all the huge things that happened in the Marvel Universe, throughout the 70s and 80s and 90s, he was sitting home watching it on TV.
Wow.
Skrull invasion? Oh, baby, did you get the popcorn? I want to make sure to see this. You know, all of that. He wasn't in none of it.
Wow. Yeah, because like the last time I was seriously collecting was right around the end of Secret Invasion. So that's when I stopped collecting seriously. Like, I still buy books, every now and then. Like today I picked up Civil War 2 because Brandon wrote the Night Thrasher joint in it. I picked up Shadow Man Volume 3 and 4 on Sunday, but for the most part, I don't have like a pull list. You know what I'm saying?
You're not the Wednesday guy no more.
Nah. It's been once comics got up to like $4.99, I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to pull back.
That's the realest, real talk.
Yo, man, because I was pulling, like, I had a Batman title, I had 2 X-Men titles, I was reading Superman, Batman as well. Street Fighter had a book out that Alvin Lee was drawing on, and I feel like I had 2 more books. But yeah, I got to the point where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to just go in and let this slide a little bit.
Yeah, when you start to look like during the week, like, all right, either I'm gonna have lunch every day or I'm gonna hit these comics. I don't know about this, fam. I don't know for what crossover you on that? No. Uh-oh.
It's like I can't follow it no more. All right, so it's been an eventful week. If you didn't know, I know you have a love-hate relationship, more of a hate relationship with Star Wars, but a lot of news came out.
Whoa. Let's clear
sorry, Force Awakens.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Please do not speak ill of my love of Star Wars, which is going on multiple decades now. Please don't do that.
Yes, because let me clarify that we love Star Wars here. I don't need y'all in the comments. I already got flamed on in the comments for not liking Independence Day. So we do love Star Wars. Oh man, so the new news came out. There's going to be Vader in the film. Donnie Yen is going to be like this force-sensitive guy. He's not a Jedi, but he's blind. And you know if Donnie Yen's in there, it's going to be mad kung fu fighting. You got your boy Forrest Whitaker looking like he's dropping jewels to I can't think of the girl, Felicia. Cannot think of her name now, but what do you think about the initial teaser trailer and the news that came out this week?
Okay, well, the teaser trailer left me with literally only one word in my mind, which was hashtag Cape Game on Point. Because I ain't never in my life seen no clown rock a cape like that dude. Like that dude
is so. That picture itself is a poster. Like, that is so smooth.
That dude.
Like, dude.
And it looked like he got a revolver, a blasted revolver too. So I'm like, this clown is out of control. So that's the first thing I thought when I saw the trailer. Right? I was in for old girl's little character. She like, it's a rebellion, right? I rebel. You know, like I get her, and I'm all good for that. That's fine. Everybody loves a scoundrel. If you're not a Force user, you gotta have a scoundrel, and I'm fine with that. That's lovely. However, the latest news about Forrest Whitaker is what's got me actually paying attention to this. Because when they said, and I quote, Forrest Whitaker's character has been one of the more closely held secrets of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. The warrior was actually first seen in season 5 of the Clone Wars animated series when he was a young man on the planet Onderon, unleashing guerrilla combat on the droid army of the Separatists who took over his world. So they whipped out this dude, because I remember this episode. He was an ill black dude who was ready to go for his. He was like, I hear all you with this blah blah Anakin, but I'm here to put a cap in somebody's behind, robot behind. And so, first of all, he was hardcore, like Reservoir Dogs, that far back. And then in the Vader age, because Vader's in this film, he's still kicking it.
Yeah.
Vader remembers lots of things. So, if I get the two of them on screen, the voice of James Earl Jones, Forrest Whitaker, rocking like that, I don't know if I'm gonna be. I don't know what to say about that. I'm extremely intrigued. I'm extremely intrigued by that concept. And therefore, I've taken my little, where you put your thumb sideways, you're like, you don't know which way you're going to go. I'm slightly up at like about a 12-degree angle now. I'm going to put it at about a 12-degree angle now.
Well, I'll be honest. I've been eating up all of the Rogue One news. I'm super excited for it. Just the voice of Forrest Whitaker when he's like dropping jewels on homegirl, like, what will you become? I'm like, yo, this movie is about to be so real, son. But
if he'd been fighting for all them decades, he would know the answer to that question.
Well, true.
He would know.
Yeah, he knows there's going to be some serious decisions he's going to have to make. And they might not turn out for either her good or what we know now to be her father's good, who's played by Ben Mendelsohn. Or is it Ben Mendelsohn? I think so. Yeah.
I believe you're right. Mm-hmm.
Mads Mikkelsen. Sorry, Mads Mikkelsen. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But from one standpoint, it's not going to turn out well for any of them because they all kind of have to die.
True. A good amount of them are going to have to die.
Canonically, none of these clowns show up anywhere else.
Yeah, so we don't ever hear of them. Either they're gonna have to die or be in some situation where they're believed to be dead and they were like left for dead and they maybe slinked off and just lived off the rest of the days in the Outer Rim or something. Like, because it's not gonna look good for the home team. The thing I'm most hyped about is just seeing when they first see Darth Vader. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we know Darth Vader, but see, from what I've read in the comments from Kathleen Kennedy, was that like he's like this legendary presence that no one's ever really seen, but he's known to be like this looming dark force. So when dude shows up on the scene, like when the blast doors open or go up or whatever, and he step out, man.
Is what I'm really hoping, because I can admit that we didn't really have the money to do this in the old days, but now that we've seen Force Unleashed and whatnot, I really need for the legend of Vader. I really need for him to step in and bring all of the Mickey Ficky ruckus. I need him to be throwing ships at people. I need because if you've seen the Vader comic, which is now in canon, if you've seen the Vader comic, Vader is loked up. Vader took down a battle cruiser by himself. People were like, "Oh my God!" He's like, "Hang on, I got this."
Wow. See, I haven't read the Vader comic yet because I'm trying to wait and see if they're gonna collect like the first 12 and then like the second 12. You know how they do like the hardbound covers or whatever.
They're gonna take care of you, but it may be a minute.
Yeah, and then I was also talking with a friend of mine, like, am I going to be able to afford it when they do it? Like, because you know how Disney do. Disney will be like, this is the special platinum fresh edition, and it's going to run you $99.95.
Well, you know, they just hooked up a shunt right into my bank account, so they was just like, all right, we know who you are, player. So,
yeah. Because I've seen, you know, of course I've seen like the memes and stuff flying around on the internet, and the one that hit me the most was there's this panel between Darth Vader and I think Boba Fett is there, and he gives him some information about Luke Skywalker, and then I think it's the moment, like right at that moment, when he realizes that the Emperor lied to him about his kids, and
yep.
I think it's that moment when like the glass cracks or whatever, and then when the glass cracks, the Emperor, like, I guess calls his, you know, intergalactic Skype or whatever, and dude shows up and like he walks over there and like Emperor's like, do we have a problem? And he's like,
well, I'll tell you like Drake, I know when that comlink blings, it can only mean one thing. So, you know, Vader, if you haven't followed if you don't want me to spoil it, I won't spoil it, because I know though I've been following the whole thing.
Well, you might as well. We'll just say spoiler alert for the listeners, because I don't mind knowing and then reading it anyway. So spoiler alert, y'all. If y'all aren't reading the Vader and y'all want to know the Vader, fast forward, I don't know, 30 seconds.
This is gonna take a little more than 30 seconds. But anyway, all right. So here's the deal. Vader said Vader after the Death Star. The Emperor's like, you suck, dude. You know what? I'm demoting you. You're not even my right hand man. You like number 5 now.
Wow.
I'm gonna bring up a moth. You know, I'm gonna bring up these other clowns and talk about your mama. Oh, sorry about your mama. But anyway, not literally. You know, that didn't really. But Vader was having a hard time keeping his love. So he said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna find who blew up that Death Star, and I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him, but good. But the problem was he didn't know who it was. So he said, all right, Boba, 150, 250, 300. Here, just take all this money and go find out who blew up that Death Star and bring that information back to me so I can kill him up real good. Boba's like, whatever. He goes off, has some crazy adventures, and finds out, of course, it was Luke. He comes back. He's like, well, I got good news for you. I found out who did it. He's like, all right, great. So you've got the name, and I can go hunt him now. He's like, yeah, the weird thing was it was a kid. It was weird. It's some teenager named Skywalker. Vader stopped like, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Like, hold on, what's his name?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, some kid is named Luke Skywalker, and he told him about how old he was. And Vader did some real quick math in his head.
Yeah, you gotta hit that math like, it was January, then February, March. Like,
wait. So Boba was like, so I'm gonna get paid, right? He's like, yeah, take your money. Boba was like, peace. And then there's that scene you mentioned with the window cracking, and he says, I have a son. And that's all the information he has at that point. He's like, oh, wait a minute, this is different. I can't just, wait a minute, okay. So through the process of the book, Vader goes through a couple of realizations. One, if he has a son, that's a potential Sith apprentice. If it's a Sith apprentice, then I can whack this guy. I could be the master. I could be the boss, and we could rule the galaxy as what? As father and son. Oh boy.
Aww.
And then he realizes, wait a minute. That means Pop Doggy Dog been treating me like his easy all this time? No, fam. Oh, okay. We got to change up the game. So Vader starts going rogue on his own. He goes and does some crazy. First of all, the best thing he did. He got his own protocol droid and astromech droid. 000 and BT, which are the evil R2 and 3PO.
Wow.
And they're the best thing in the entire world. They're the best thing in the entire world. But he can't go run all the missions himself, so he gets himself a scoundrel. This rogue archaeologist who's blown up and murdered people all over named Dr. Aphra. And she's a female. She's right? Mm-hmm. Imagine if you mixed Han and Leia and got rid of all their morals.
Wow. That's
Dr. Aphra, right? And she loves working for Vader. She's like, this is the most thrilling thing I've ever done. Oh my God. So he sends them out. Then this clown, why does he dig up a battle droid army? He finds an old battle droid army that was lying around that people only he remembered.
Oh,
he
yeah,
decommissioned
probably
it during the Clone Wars.
Yeah, when you think about it, after the Clone Wars, there's got to be like tons of scrap yards like everywhere.
But that's just the thing. This wasn't a scrapyard. This was a fully functioning battle droid battalion.
Wow.
That had just been turned off and left because he killed up all the masters on Mustafar.
Oh, yeah.
So Vader's got his secret right-hand girl, Dr. Aphra. He's got these hilariously evil droids that are her assistants. And 000, he's like, well, my solution normally is to just kill all of the humans because I pretty much can't tell y'all apart anyway.
Wow.
He says, and on top of that, he's got a droid army that he can whip out at just when he feels like it. So he's got all these things running secretly. Don't nobody know about it.
Because he's planning he's planning on a little coup for your boy the Emperor.
Yes, sir. And that's where so right now he's trying to keep his secret stuff hidden. And he's working on, whatever he's doing in the book. And he's a super ill cat. He's a super ill cat in the book. Because he will say much, but when he says something, it's always ill. It's always talking about somebody's mama. And it's Kieran Gillen's writing on that. He's got such a grasp on that voice. And with Salvador Larroca on art, it's really, really good. Like, it's every issue isn't top notch, but when you put them all together in the collection, like, you go get them, you're gonna be like, baby, don't touch me.
Yeah, because every time I go in the store and I see it, I ask people, like, is the trade out yet? And they're like, no, we don't. We did have a couple, but they got sold. I'm like, well, are there any plans for like the big, like, 13 issue hardcover thing? And they're like, well, we haven't heard anything. And I'm like, man, come on. Like, I need to block out like a weekend and just go through that and get up on my Vader.
Why haven't you just gone to Amazon to get it?
Well,
because I'm looking at it here on the internet.
I'll be honest,
and it's right here.
Oh, they
got the first 6 issues are called Darth Vader Volume 1, just Vader, and then you got the second 6 issues, which is Shadows and Secrets Volume 2, and they minding their own business, sitting on Amazon, waiting to be bought, minding it. Just chilling.
Oh no!
All 12 first issues.
This is something, and I want to. After I make this statement, I want to jump into something else that I was thinking about the other day. I don't know, and I know you're probably gonna call me old school, but there's something about like walking into the shop. I don't know what it is. I know it sounds stupid. It's just something.
Well, that doesn't sound stupid. What sounds stupid is that you can just say, "Why don't y'all just order this for me for the next time I come in?" That sounds stupid.
All right, okay, good point. But I was talking with a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about like digital comics, and just physical comics that you have that are tactile or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I have digital comics. Like, I just picked up the Humble Bundle last week for all of the Ghostbusters stuff from IDW because I love Ghostbusters. Unfortunately, we're probably gonna have a mishap this July, but I picked up all the comics and I haven't even touched them yet. And it's not that I don't like digital comics, because I've read digital comics, but I don't know what it is. It's something about like having it in your hand. And maybe I'm just like, I'm too old or something, but I just
Aren't you like 8? I mean, I'm 43 and I know you're significantly younger than I am.
I'm 33, man.
Yeah, I have t-shirts older than you.
But it's just something, I don't know, it's something about like having the book. I mean, even though I'll still read, I usually read digital comics like while I'm in the like airport or something like that. But it's just something about having it. So are you up on digital comics or web comics, or do you prefer the actual physical book in your hand that you can like look at and pull out or whatever?
I feel like physical books are dinosaurs and their purveyors will be buried in the dust. That the future is coming. It can't be fought. It can't be resisted. And most importantly, my wife never yells at me about my digital comics collection. I got boxes and boxes of physical comics that she side-eyes literally every day.
Wow.
I don't need that kind of drama. So the former investment value of comics, when you could buy a comic book and it would value up to be 20, 40, 60, $80, please, those days are dead. So that's gone.
Yeah.
The tactile experience of it, in that if I'm, for example, going back to the Great Darkness saga from Legion of Superheroes, one of my all-time favorite stories, one of the things that got me into comics in general anyway, and I get to the end of that issue where the Daxamites use the heat vision to turn their whole planet into Darkseid's head, and I turn the page and I'm like, oh, I'm in the bathroom, this book is in the other room, like, dang it. That's a problem.
Man.
That's a big problem. So for me, I'm all in for digital. I'm a big proponent of digital, recognizing, however, that the industry still is a very paper-based one. It's still about the Wednesday crowd. It's still about the brick and mortar stores. Recognizing the importance of, when I'm at Free Comic Book Day, that I have this much in the Aspen Universe crossover Free Comic Book Day book, and people still wanted me to sign it. They wanted my physical name on a physical book. So I respect that other people want that, but that time is coming to an end. The demographics on those people are skewing older, and their time is coming to an end sooner rather than later. So as an industry, if we don't start looking at that and recognizing that before Amazon is like, we got this Comixology, we got to be the digital diamond player.
Oh yeah, they're positioning themselves very well, because when they bought Comixology, I was like, I wonder what they about to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
And
well,
it's because it's not that I don't like digital comics. It's just, I don't know, because I've read them. Like I have Comixology has some free stuff. Then they always have their sales. So I've picked up a couple of trades of X-Force, kind of like when Deadpool and Wolverine were on them, and Psylocke and stuff. Like Phantom X or whoever his name is. So I got a couple of those. But I still end up coming back to like the actual physical medium. But one thing I have transferred to is buying more of the larger book style issues, because as a newlywed, I realized, because I had 2 long boxes that I brought out here from Virginia, and the rest of them I gave to like a school. I think I gave them to like a daycare or something like that. But
good looking out.
Before she moved out here, I got rid of another long box, because I was like, she's coming out here. She don't need, she ain't trying to see no nerd stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, okay, I still like to buy comics from time to time, but if I buy the comics that look like real books, then you can like put it in a bookshelf and it's not like single issues just laying around. It looks cleaner. If you have like the hardcover or something, or it just looks like nicer, and it's less of an eyesore to the fair sex.
I agree. I mean, I got 2 shelves of our bookshelf, our bookcase in our other room, loaded up with trade paperbacks and hardbacks and whatever, blah blah. And I had to get rid of a bunch too, because there's a room consideration. There's ultimately an accumulation issue of collecting comics that, honestly, it feels like it was less of a concern when we were younger, because you could spend less money than we're spending to get more space than you could have now.
True.
The economic considerations are making that less practical and more problematic. So the move to digital for me is one that is more based on trying to keep peace in my marriage, truth be told.
Good point.
But
good point.
There will be I understand. When I go to buy a physical comic book, I'm making a political statement. I'm saying this is where I need my money to be spent at retail, because you people order, and I recognize that. So when I go into a shop and I'm like, yeah, how's it going? I'm gonna need that new, what was it that I wanted? And then I pick some black comic that they probably not gonna have. And they're like, oh, we don't have any copies of that. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess are you gonna have it in? And like, we could get it for you. Could you? All right, great. Here, let me just pay for it now, and I'll be back for it. And here's my number, and you can give me a call when I come get it. And then they think, oh, well, if you want it, I should probably have a couple copies on the stands for somebody. And that's the sort of political statement I make when I go to a comic book shop, a lot of time. But truthfully, digital is a real, for the things I want to 100% own, a real boon. And I'm still buying a lot of more physical comics than I want to be buying, truth be told, because of the business that I'm in, the fact that I have to get reviews done.
Oh, yeah.
But it is what it is. So that time, I hope, will be coming to a conclusion soon.
All right, well, let's switch gears up a little bit because this week didn't only have some Star Wars news, but we got some news about Justice League. And
yes, we did.
Oh, yes, we did. So now, it's pretty well known that I'm not one of the people that were angry about Batman versus Superman. I was one of the people that was sincerely let down. Like I felt like that kid that lost that last football game.
Oh,
dang. Like that's how I felt. I just felt like let down. Like I wasn't like, I know a lot of people that were angry. I didn't even have the energy to be angry. I just, like, the wind in my sails was completely deflated.
There was a great sense of ennui, yes.
Like I just and you can ask Lisa. I drove home in silence. The only thing I said, we left the theater. No, before we left the theater, I turned to her. I said, I've never been so disappointed by a film that I was excited for. And I drove home in silence. And like, it sounds like a joke, but it's serious. Like, we drove home in silence. I didn't say a word. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that Batman and Superman in one movie together left me like, I don't know what to, I don't even know what to say. I can't even say I'm mad. I just don't know what to do.
You people and your hope.
But the good thing is that this week some Justice League news came out that not only are they trying to right the ship, they are acknowledging that they have heard the criticisms from the critics and the fans as well. And they are trying to, I guess, represent the characters better as we know them from the comics. Now, of course, there's been a billion iterations of everybody in comics, but kind of like their core, I guess, attitudes and mannerisms. So with that being said, they had some footage for the, reporters and everything that were out there. And at least from Collider, there's a guy that went out there and he said, as a person that loves comics, a person loves Batman and his exchange between the Flash is much different from as far as the characterization from BVS, and it's a lot better. So now I know you're saying you're people with your hope, but with this news that's been coming out, and I'm sure you've seen it because you can't get away from it.
I got away with it. I actually had to do.
Oh, word? Well,
but I'm looking at the Collider thing now.
But like with this news of like, them kind of like recognizing that, hey, this isn't what the people wanted and we could have did better. How do you feel about the future films? Because we do at least have, Suicide Squad, that's definitely coming out. And then we definitely have Justice League and Wonder Woman.
To take it back a little to our Star Wars discussion, I've got a bad feeling about this. Because here's the thing. When Kevin Feige and said, we're going to put out this Iron Man movie with Robert Downey Jr. and, it's going to be big. People were like, I guess. And, and it came out and it was crazy. And then right after that, they dropped the Hulk and they're like, wait a minute, wasn't that Robert Downey Jr. at the end of the Hulk? He was like, oh, did I forget to mention? I have a plan. And they're like, what do you mean you've got a plan? He's like, oh yeah, I've got a plan. It's like out to 2020. I mean, I've got a gang of movies. They're like, yeah, sure you do. Whatever. And then they keep coming out and they keep connecting. They're like, wait a minute, is this a plan? He's like, I told you I had a plan. Why weren't you listening? I got a plan. And then they hung that $1 billion from the Avengers on them.
Yeah.
And then they hung that next $1 billion from the next Avengers on them. And then they hung that $1 billion from Cap Civil War on them.
Yeah, man. Civil War was a serious film.
Here's the thing: there are people at Warner Brothers who have to answer to people. They're called into meetings with people who don't know nothing about nothing, and those people say, "We have the largest superhero brands in the entire world. There is no icon, no tracking, no marketing anywhere that says anything is anywhere near as big as Superman and Batman. Why are we not making this money now?" And they run out of that office and say, "We have to make this money now. We don't have time for a plan. We don't have time to build up. We don't have time. We don't have time. We don't have time." Now, Michael, you've eaten food, right?
Yes.
Now, if you eat food that you haven't taken the time to cook, will it or will it not be awful?
It'll most likely be awful.
That is exactly the problem we have here. That we're dealing with a Batman who has had an off-camera career that we don't know anything about. That we can only extrapolate from hearsay in a movie that we already don't really like. So when we're walking in to see character interaction the way that, say, you're saying that is closer to a comic book interpretation, that's wonderful for the 30,000 people that buy Batman comics.
True.
And the 20,000 people who buy Flash comics.
True.
However, the millions, as The Rock might say, and millions of people who don't know squat about squat, they're going to say, "I don't understand why these characters are acting this way. I don't understand these characters. I don't care. I'm going to leave this movie on opening night, and I'm going to give it a crappy Rotten Tomatoes score, and I'm going to tell my friends about it, and they're not going to run out to see it the next week. Maybe they'll wait for it on Netflix. Maybe they'll see it at $3 to this theater. Whatever. All I know is you're not getting that money." So they not going to go out and have their friends see it the next weekend. Maybe they'll see it at $1 theater. Maybe they'll see it on Netflix. I don't know. But you know who's not going to get their money? Warner Brothers. They're going to have another thing where there's that great meme where Christopher Evans is with Ben Affleck cracking up laughing.
Man.
And they have the relative dollar figures because, a third sequel topped their movie. The third installment in the Captain America series topped this big multi-DC love fest of what have you. So yeah, in general, I'm concerned. I'm concerned mostly not because I care about Ben Affleck, because I don't. Not because I care about the health of this franchise, because frankly, I kind of don't. I'm kind of a little bit over Superman, dude. Because a Superman who would have his mother say you don't owe them anything, and whose father would say after he being asked, should I have let them die, maybe, is not a Superman I care to have anything to do with. So with all those things said, I'm concerned because I want to see The Rock as Black Adam.
That'll be cool.
I'm concerned because there's a young actor who has had one movie to his credit that's slated to be Cyborg in a movie by himself. And I don't want them to screw it up before they get their chance.
Yeah, I am kind of hyped to see how that plays out. I'm very excited for that.
Because for me, I want to take my daughters to it so they can see this on screen, so they can see a black man as a hero, as a villain, with nuance, with the feature on him that big on a screen.
Yeah.
Because we don't, representation matters.
It does.
Even
it
if even if Finn was the fact that Finn was a space janitor, he got an action figure. Lando was hard to freaking find when I was a kid.
And the thing is, people talked about it, but it's like he was a space janitor. It ain't where you from, it's where you at. Right now, he got a lightsaber in his hand. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be honest, when he lit up that lightsaber in that trailer, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was like, we got a black Jedi. Is it? It's over. I was like, it's over. It's over. I don't care. Imagine, because I tried to imagine if I was like 8 and Luke was black. You know what I'm saying? Or whenever I first, because what is it? TNT or TBS used to play Star Wars all the time. Yeah, I'm taking it back. True. TNT and TBS were like the original Netflix. But they used to play it all the time. And I just tried to imagine what it would be like. Like, perfect example, with Civil War. I can't imagine what it would be like to be 7, 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? and look and see Black Panther up there, just not playing second fiddle, not taking no shorts, being able to hold down the Winter Soldier by himself in a pair of jeans. Like the dude, it's not like the dude was even suited up. He was wearing like some sneakers and a pair of jeans.
It was ready.
Even to the point where the Winter Soldier had to run from him.
It was ready, yeah.
So I guess I'll agree. I do think Warner Brothers they don't really have a captain of the ship. They don't have someone.
But they do now.
Well, yeah, it seems like they're trying to position Ben Affleck to be that person.
No. Oh, you haven't read the news, my good friend. No. They promoted Jeff Johns.
But I thought Jeff Johns was supposed to be doing the TV stuff that they got planned for Netflix or whatever.
Yes, that too. Uh-huh.
Oh, so he's... Oh, okay. Well, big ups to Jeff Johns then. Wow. Because, see, I thought he was only supposed to be doing kind of like head of the TV stuff. And whatever new secret Netflix project they got coming out, which is... People are speculating it's going to be Watchmen, a TV series, but we really don't know for sure yet.
I'd rather not.
I don't think Watchmen needs a series, but
I don't think there's any. Everything that needs to be said by Watchmen is in Watchmen. There's nothing more that needs to be said.
Yeah, like the movie which I enjoyed is fine on its own. We don't need an extra series.
I agree.
Regarding that. I mean, now if it comes out and it blows my mind, I'll be cool with it. But I just think that they could focus their talents on writing the ship of Arrow right now. But I won't go there. We're back to the movies.
I'm a little. Well, honestly, I'm as weird as Arrow's gotten. I'm more concerned about Flashpoint. But yeah, okay, go ahead.
Really?
Flashpoint.
Because it seems like they've been taking a lot more care with the Flash than with Arrow.
But okay, look, because don't get me wrong, I love that Flash TV show in ways that are illegal in 7 southern states. I do. But Flashpoint is the start of where things in the comics start to go catastrophically wrong, in my mind.
True.
So bringing catastrophically wrong to my boy Cisco and Joe, I don't want you to I don't want you to screw that up. I'm so can I just be happy, please? Just a little bit.
True, I feel you. I figured they feel they got to do something to get Supergirl inside of their universe, and then I guess this is probably going to be the catalyst for that. And then I figure maybe half a season or something will be the Flash fixing it. Whatever went wrong with the I guess you could say prime continuity.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming like the first half of the season would be him like, oh snap, I screwed everything up.
Again.
And then the second half of the season would be like, all right, I gotta fix this. How do I fix this? But the cool thing is you have all of these properties now between Legends, between Arrow, between Flash, and Supergirl, where you could kind of create sort of like fluid shows where, and go with me a little bit here, like as far as music, for instance, like Method Man's album. It was Method Man's album, but GZA was there, the RZA was on it, Inspector Deck was on it, and stuff like that. So this could be like Supergirl's show, but you'll see Arrow on episode 3, 5, 10, and 12. And then you'll see the Flash on 3, 9, 18, and 19, something like that, And it can be very fluid between these shows where it's like, wow, you never know who's going to show up. Well, I mean, I guess they always do the preview, so I guess you will know. But you know what I mean? I forgot and them joints be having mad spoilers in them.
I don't watch them.
Like, they be like, next week, you thought he was in danger, but he's not.
The second they say next stop, just stop it, change channel.
Oh, man. But yeah, so as far as Warner Brothers, I do agree. They do need to find someone that, not only like Jeff Johns, since they got him, kind of not let him do whatever he wants, but give him a little more control. Because Jeff Johns, if anyone knows comics, I'm sure he's one of them. So, I mean, if anyone knows the characterizations of, what Superman, how he relates to Batman, or how he relates to Wonder Woman.
But that's not. Here's the thing. Kevin Feige doesn't know comics like that. Kevin Feige's never made a comic. Kevin Feige's never written a comic.
Well,
what Kevin Feige knows is movies. Kevin Feige knows how to make a multi-year plan. Yeah. And to have a financial backing that trusts you to carry out a multi-year plan. So what they need more than leeway for him, I believe, is time. Because we've been thrown into this mishigas with very little warm-up. It's like, buy me dinner first, big boy. But, let's take some time. Let's develop the characters and not just assume that the fact that we can buy their T-shirt at the Hot Topic, that you can accept that as shorthand for actual character development.
True. Because I do feel like Warner Brothers wants Avengers success without making like 6 movies before it. Like, because what was it? Was it 5 or 6 movies before Avengers?
Just 5.
I can't remember. It was Iron Man. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they don't want to make the previous 5 movies. Like they were like, Man of Steel was profitable. It was still divisive, but it was good enough to go forward. Okay. Batman vs Superman. It's like, whoa. The reason Batman vs Superman mattered in the comics is because they had been friends for years. And then also one of my biggest issues with doing a movie like that so early, and besides the fact the movie could have still been good, but it wasn't, but was that this comic that Frank Miller did represented the end of their relationship, not the beginning. So if you can't start off, you can't really start off with something that represents the very tail end, because I believe it's been a while since I've read it, but I don't think anyone is around. Green Arrow's around. I think Wonder Woman, all of them are dead. Like the Justice League doesn't even exist.
Wonder Woman's in the middle
at that point. Oh, she is? Oh, okay. Because I think the Justice League at that point doesn't even exist. And Superman's working for the government or something, and the president tells him go get Batman or something, whatever it was. But it was like their end, not their beginning.
Well, that's an outstanding point, because that was really the capstone of and Miller's book was the capstone of a certain age of comics as well, because it was, I believe, around the time of John Byrne's reinvention, and Crisis on Infinite Earths was not too far from that, not too many years from that. So it was a final love letter to an earlier, more innocent age of comics. What unfortunately it ushered in for a group of fans turned pros was this kind of hoodwin mentality that focuses more on my hero can beat up this other hero, blah blah blah, while villains go untouched.
True.
How much of a hero are you if you're spending most of your time fighting heroes? What are you really doing? And moreover, from a cultural standpoint, in that we had Batman vs Superman and Civil War in the same year, what is that saying about our cultural zeitgeist? That we would rather hang almost $2 billion on the people idealized to protect us going at it than rather stop an actual threat. On the Marvel side, at least we can say it's part of the plan. Because when, and I tell you this now, and when it happens, you're going to say Hannibal's a genius. When, in the second Avengers Infinity War movie, that Tony and Steve walk up to each other again and say, one more time. It's curtains. Everybody's going to freaking lose their freaking mind.
Yeah.
It's going to... Martha's going to be wiped out of everybody's mind forever.
Oh boy. The reason, because one of the reasons I think, well, of course, because of the plan as well, but when you look at something like Civil War, you get a movie where it's like someone understands the fundamental core of these characters. Like this is
And how to translate it.
Yeah,
it's not just understanding the character, but translating it for film, which is a very tough medium.
Yeah, because adapting something is a big deal too. Yeah, but when Captain America acted this way, I believed, oh, okay, yeah, Cap does act like that. Or Spider-Man, oh yeah, he does act like that. Or any one of the characters. And then you set that inside of just a movie that is, man, I already gave it 5 stars. I can't gush over it anymore, but it's just a well created film. And you look at it and you're just like, man, even after all of the problems they had, Cap still sent him that letter like, yo, look, I know everything ain't all good, but you still my dog. If you need me, holla. You know what I'm saying? You didn't get that. Well, I guess Superman died too, so you didn't get a chance to get that. But you know what I mean? Like, you didn't have that issue.
Not only can you not get that resolution from the Warner Bros. Flicks, but when, and you're going to call me a prophet, when near the end of Avengers Infinity War, the first one, when Iron Man says, we need help, we're in trouble, we need help, and he sends off something, and that guy comes back in the second movie with Cap and Panther and Wanda and whoever else is rolling with them, everybody's going to lose their freaking mind because you earned it.
Yeah.
From a storytelling standpoint.
Emotionally, we've earned this because these characters have liked each other for X amount of years. They've had their little gripes with each other and they've built, but they've still been friends. And then, you have this lie that's been, kept, I guess by omission or whatever. You got that stuff that's been built up instead of trying to say, all right, we got one movie that was a relative hit, but critically it was still kind of in the air. There's a lot of people that are on the fence about Man of Steel. I enjoyed it. I do think that there's some things about Superman that I didn't like, but all in all, I was willing to roll with it because I was thinking, oh, okay, maybe this is because this is his first time out, and then we'll get our Superman that like believes in people in the next movie. And
nope.
Then when we didn't get it, I was kind of let down. But it's like, it's one of those things where you look at the movie and you're like, man, okay, well, we got some good effects. He got to learn something. And, in all honesty, the people that would be mad at me online, they would be like, well, he broke this and he broke that. I'm like, dude, imagine you get on the job and like day 3 on the job, Wi-Fi goes down, the printer starts acting up, the water hose, the fire alarm comes on, there's a fire in the kitchen, what are you supposed to do? It's like, he was Superman, he had the suit on for, I don't know, 2 days. And like, after that, it's like, yo, we gonna kill your planet. Give yourself up.
Yeah, here's the thing that it was my beef with Force Awakens, it was my beef with Man of Steel, it's my beef with Batman versus Superman. There are a group of people who we are supposed to follow as protagonists who are essentially very bad at what they do. That and I'll go through all of them, if I'm Superman and I've got an hour to save my mom, and I know this guy wants to beat the hell out of me, and I can fly and yell, I don't physically need to get close enough for him to hit me, because he doesn't have any distance weapons, and the fog that I ultimately got hit with, I wouldn't have gotten hit with if I was flying.
Yeah.
So I'm bad at my job because I've apparently been Superman for a little while. People like me, they've seen me catch some spaceships. I know a thing or two about some things, except I'm a freaking doofquat. Scroll it back. I've been learning to use my powers since I was a kid. And these people are new and overwhelmed by their senses alone, which took me years to master. Military or not, they're overwhelmed. I could end this with super speed. What do? I walk and I talk because I am an idiot from Kansas with a bad educational system. Roll back further. All right, let's go to Force Awakens. We're not an actual empire. We're an empire wannabe. We're a bunch of cosplayers that are
We're
desperate
like
to.
Empire Light.
Yeah, exactly. We're Diet Empire. Maybe we're pseudo Empire. And we're gonna play with the big boy toys, and we're gonna prove we're gonna be like them. Except our big antagonist is a whiny teenager. Get all of these people out of my office. No, thank you. Because at least whatever you can say about Marvel, almost everybody there is good at their jobs.
True. Now, one thing I will say I like about the characterization of your boy Kylo Ren is, well, two things. One, when he's walking somewhere, whenever he's walking somewhere, he ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? All them walking shots, homie was on point. You know what I'm saying? When I walk places, I want the camera to be on me like that, because he was serious when he was walking. Now, the second thing is I do like something about, I guess because we hadn't seen it in Star Wars before, but I do like something about someone who's fighting off the light side instead of fighting off the dark side. I thought that was kind of cool. And then also having that kind of identity issue with trying to be something that you're really not. And I don't know, it was just I just thought it was kind of cool to see it in that way. Now, of course, there were some issues. Go ahead.
When you say that, the idea of somebody fighting the light, ideologically, that speaks to me a great deal. When I see Whiny McGoatee trying to do it,
no, not Whiny McGoatee.
It's not really singing for me, because here's the thing. The question becomes, if you're fighting the dark, why are you fighting the dark? Because you want to save the galaxy, because you want to protect people. That's great. Those are great, solid, heroic motivations. If you're fighting the light, why are you fighting the light? Because my mommy didn't love me. Because my daddy wasn't there to hug me. Because I never met this grandfather that I'm idolizing, who is actually almost as whiny as I am.
Well, not the older. The older one wasn't whiny. The younger one was mad whiny and kind of creepy when he was coming on to a chick that was super duper older than him, because he was like 8 and she was like 30, and then like
you have the timeline wrong. When they met, he was 9 and she was 17.
Okay.
They were eight years apart. My wife is 7.5 years younger than me. So if I gotta let that roll, I gotta let that roll.
I don't know. And you're right. I didn't know her exact age. I just remember seeing the movie, like the first time I was just like, oh, but when I saw the second movie, I was like, you know what? Isn't she way too old for him? And then but I didn't realize how young she was in the first movie. So I will back off.
Because Natalie Portman is in her 30s.
Yeah, that's why. So I retract my previous statement because, but in the movie I was like, isn't she kind of old? but it's like, I do like that struggle. I guess seeing him wanting to be or believing in this, I guess, idea that isn't real, and because I'm interested to see what happens when it crumbles in front of him, because it will crumble. I assume that Homeboy is going to kill him. What's the guy's name? The big old, well, he's not really big. It was the picture of him, but Snoke. Yeah. But I am interested to see how it goes down when what he believes to be true kind of crumbles in front of him. At least if we get a moment that deep, we'll see.
I would love to see this struggle on any character that is not Kylo Ren. But for him, it's unconvincing and unimportant. I don't expect him to die anytime before the third movie of this trilogy, because if there's one thing I know about what they're calling saga films, there's one through line through all saga films. A Kenobi guides the destiny of a Skywalker.
True.
So I got my Skywalker. So that leaves who's probably my Kenobi with a blue lightsaber.
True. Yeah. I guess we shall see.
Which makes the space janitor even less important. Off to the side with you, sacrificial magic Negro.
I hope that you're wrong.
You have no idea how many people have said that to me over the years, and how few of them have been rewarded.
All right, well, let's see. We have covered, I guess we've covered pretty much everything that's going on right now. Oh, man, I didn't even think. This week, we've got a whole bunch of casting news that makes it seem like Spider-Man Homecoming is going to be more representative of New York than Friends was.
Yes, that's true.
There's a lot of black people in this movie, yo. I ain't gonna front. If anything, they making sure they're gonna be like, look, there are black people all up and through this joint. Spider-Man Homecoming has not only Zendaya, but it's got your boy Donald Glover. It's got your man Hannibal Buress and your man Strapped, aka Jason's Lyric, Bokeem Woodbine in the house. Yo, people forget about Strapped. That movie was kind of sweet when it came out. I was young, but it was sweet.
I love that movie. I love that movie a lot.
Yo, man. So what do you think about this news? I mean, we know Sony is not in control. Like, Marvel is letting them save face, but Marvel's like, look, y'all just settle down. We'll take this.
The deal they signed was Marvel gets to use Spider-Man in their movies, and they have to send over Kevin Feige to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Marvel doesn't get the money, but Kevin runs ideologically the movies, so they fit his plans aesthetic. Yeah. So then he takes his existing blueprint and says, all right, what can I do? Where can I put you? Okay, I'm going to put you after Civil War, so I'll do these things, slide off to the side. I can tie that into what I'm doing on Netflix. Great. Okay, run, ship this. And I'll think of it. And that's wonderful. I'm very happy for them all. They're going to be very happy together. But, from a casting standpoint, honestly, I've learned over the years I'm a lot more interested in Spider-Man than Peter Parker. And Spider-Man movies are a lot more about Peter Parker than I'm normally very interested in. As well, I have better hope for Tom Holland, who's really, really good, because prior to him, the only funny Spider-Man I ever saw was Andrew Garfield. Mopey Toby, I had to tolerate through all those movies that everybody loved and I hated. Until he finally, aged out of his tights, thank God. Man. But yeah, so the funnier he is, the more clever he is, the more awkward he is, the better off we're going to be. The diversity of New York City is going to be an element, but it will be, as I said, off to the side. It's a secondary consideration for the actions of white people, in the same way that the death of Jim Rhodes had to be the thing that motivated both Captain Marvel and Iron Man. Neither of us can really get to this incredibly stupid plot point unless we kill somebody black. No thanks.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So, am I interested? Yeah, I'm interested, but I'm not hyped for Spider-Man the way I am for like I said, Black Adam. I'm not even calling it Shazam because I don't even care. It would be hard to get me to care who Shazam.
I'm starting to wonder if the film is going to feature another actor, or if they're going to play it like Black Adam ends up turning into Shazam, because they haven't casted a Shazam yet. Now, of course, there's no plans for a start shooting date, so they don't have to cast someone yet. But they casted The Rock like forever ago, and we ain't heard nothing at all about a Shazam. So I'm wondering if they're going to play it like different, where it's like maybe he's Black Adam at first, or maybe as like, dual identities or something. I don't know what they're doing, because they have not casted anybody for Shazam. And
they did surprise me by making Wonder Woman a period picture, a World War I period picture. So that was a surprise. Going with that was a bold choice, but one that I honestly think gives more depth to the character, which is a good thing. So if you're telling me, the only thing that concerns me there is that they then make this a period piece about what's the name, Teth Adam, and they then Gods of Egypt it, which is just as bad to me. So.
Oh man. All right. Well, Dad, we have covered.
Before we close, we haven't covered everything. We haven't covered a very important thing that this week with Brandon Easton.
Oh yeah, because
2 books from David Walker.
Because I did a video earlier and I completely forgot about that. Well, Hannibal, take it away.
All right. In 1 week, we had 2 books from David F. Walker. Brandon Easton writing a story in Civil War, choosing sides or taking sides. We had the blackest assemblage in the history of Marvel Comics at the funeral of what's his name, Jim Rhodes. So, this was one of Marvel's blackest weeks ever, especially given how little they've hired how few black people they've hired to write comics in the past. Before last year, 22 people had ever written more than 1 issue for both big companies, and Marvel, still to this day, has never hired a sister to write a series ever. Not one black woman ever. So, and as of right now, there's some that are solicited, but as of right now, there are no black writers at DC. None. Wow. So I like for people to remember these things when they're going out and shelling out their money. I worked at the Los Angeles Sentinel as an intern when I was in college, and they were a paper that was founded on a campaign. Don't spend where you can't work.
True. Good point.
So, while we're all so happy and elated about these wonderful, cute little movies that, again, have very little representation behind the scenes, I just like to remember these other little points. Yes, it's wonderful. Marvel had a blackety black week, and let's see if, in addition to being on the page, we can get paid. That's my take on it.
Good point. Yeah, definitely. We need, and the thing is, there's definitely enough slots open for all the books that they publishing, for all the TV shows they got running, for all the movies that are in production. There's definitely some area for, a brother or a sister to get some, I don't know, a writing credit, a producing credit, a directing credit, a gaffer. I mean, can we get something?
On The Flash, one of the producers on The Flash is black.
Right.
I know him. I met him at Mel's barbecue. Mel Kylo from Boom Studios had a barbecue a couple years ago, and I met him, and he was super cool. Whatever. He works with Benjamin Robb, one of the writers on the show. So I know. I mean, it's not like there's nobody, but they're so few and far between that it's like, oh my God, there's one.
Yeah.
And in comic, I mean, like I said, with this week's Mosaic announcement for Jeffrey Thorne, now Marvel's hired Jeffrey Thorne, Brandon Easton, Brandon Thomas, Enrique Carrion.
Enrique got hired.
And I believe, if memory serves, he got hired for one of those Civil War anthology books.
Right.
So let's see, Enrique, Brandon Easton, Brandon Thomas, Jeff Thorne, Ta-Nehisi Coates, David Walker. That's 6 brothers.
Is Kari working on something? Or is Kari drawing? I saw Kari. Kari did a cover with Chris Anka on one of the Civil War books.
Kari is drawing the Mosaic book for Jeff Thorne.
So he's doing the whole book, not just the cover? Because my man do like 1 million covers a year.
It says he's the interior artist. I have no reason to doubt them. So, I mean, from my standpoint, this is more black people in 6 months than they've hired in 6 years, in 12 years, in 18 years.
Wow.
Is that panic? I don't know. I'd like to see a pattern and not panic. I can't say.
Because if it's panic, it might be a situation where we just want to build something up, make sure that it looks good, and once it's built back up, then y'all gotta go.
Mm-hmm. Last hired, first fired.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be pretty dope because I didn't realize it was that many. I knew about Brandon Easton, I knew about Jeffrey Thorne and the Mosaic book, which I'm really interested to see how his powers play out after reading the article and everything. So I'm real interested to see how he, moves from person to person, I guess. So I'm pretty excited about that. Plus, I've been up on his work ever since he had the Pimp Juice website.
Nice.
He's been one of my, influences. Even though I don't draw like him, he's been an influence just just seeing like the amount of work that he puts in is incredible.
Yeah, he's really good, and I that's just the thing. These are all really talented people who were just as talented last year when they weren't getting the call.
Yeah.
So it's also for me, and the reason why I publicized this specific name, it's incumbent upon us for an audience. If we want them to be able to keep working, we have to financially support them.
Yeah.
So when I do this, I go out to 4 or 5 different stores and be like, hey, yeah, you got the new Shaft comic from David Walker from Dynamite? Oh, no, we don't. Oh, could you pull it for me? All right, great. Drive to another store. Got this Shaft comic from Dynamite? Oh, yeah, could you pull it for me? I go back and buy them and so on and so forth, but they're on the stands. They realize there's a demand.
Yeah.
Because we have, as an audience, a responsibility if we want change. Now, if we're, good old okie doke, foot shuffling Negroes and don't care one way or another, you can do whatever the heck you want. But if change is what we want, we have to vote with our dollars. And we have to be very crystal clear. Not just we have to vote with our tweets, we have to vote with our dollars, we have to vote with our posts, we have to vote with everything we have.
We gotta, because one of the biggest things, which is actually, I picked up the Civil War, both covers, I can't remember. I know Scotty Young did the playful kind of kiddie one. And then I can't remember who did the normal cover, but I picked up both of those, did a video that I'm putting out in the morning specifically for the fact that it's like, Brandon Easton, someone who, not only a brother, but someone who I know is a good brother, is working on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to put my money where my mouth is. I can't be like, yo, I want representation. And then, I ain't buying it, or I'm not sharing it, or I'm not, looking for it or whatever.
Exactly.
And then just trying to shine a light on it, because there's a lot of people don't want to look for things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we're a minority inside of like a subculture. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to look.
Well, even for the haters, I mean, they can't, say, we're not saying just buy the book because he's black. He wrote for Agent Carter. He wrote for Thundercats.
Yep.
He's writing the new Mask series for IDW. This is not some dude off the street.
No.
Brandon is the real deal. Jeffrey Thorne has written and produced The Librarians and Leverage and Star Trek. These are not no average dudes, These
And they've been dope for a long time.
Yeah.
So. And matter of fact, didn't Jeffrey do to Mars, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mars.
No, you're thinking about Tony Puryear. Tony Puryear wrote Eraser.
Sorry.
Yeah, Tony Puryear wrote Eraser. Tony Puryear, who's on Concrete Park now.
No, I mean the comic book about not the Running Man, but
you mean the Total Recall
book? Yeah,
that was Vince Moore.
Vince Moore. Cool. My bad.
Who's also really good.
Yeah, but
not getting the call. Just gonna put that out there.
Yeah, it's like, and I mean, it's not a situation where what I'm saying, we're bringing it up just for fun. It's because we're bringing it up because we realize that there's enough space for everybody. You know what I'm saying? There's enough work out there, but the situation is that the jobs keep getting like reshuffled. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a situation where it's like we just hating to be hating, or we just talking about it for fun. It's because it's like we know the opportunities are there, and it's like we know we're good enough, and it's like, why aren't we getting the call?
Mm-hmm.
So,
good
man,
question.
I can't end this on a bad note. I
don't think there's a bad note. We got the blackest week ever. That's a
well,
great
it's
note.
true. Marvel's Black Week. Like, it sounds like Black College Week or something. It's like just funded by Marvel or something.
Let's just try to make sure they get a few more of them coming down the line.
Yeah, and get some of those books out there. And on top of that, people go out and support the books. Night Thrasher is a black character. Black Panther, black character. I don't know if there's anyone on A-Force that's black, because I can't remember.
Yeah, Monica Rambeau is on there.
Oh, she's back?
Yeah,
because I know they've always played with her powers, like she's got powers, she doesn't have powers. You know what I'm saying?
She's she's in Ultimates and A-Force.
Oh, word up. All right, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
But more than that, we also have to show that we have to go by Romulus from Brian Edward Hill at Image. We have to go by
Right.
Horizon from Brandon Thomas at Skybound because, we have to prove that there's a market for us. And I'm not saying you have to, bite the bullet and pay the black tax on a book you're not going to like. Again, these are top-notch dudes. These
Yeah.
are not no okey-doke dudes wrote
or at
writing
least
comics.
give the book a shot. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. 'Cause
Like if you're scared to buy it, read an article on it, read a review on it, and then just try to get involved. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Because if it was an X book written by Boo Boo the Fool, they would be the first in line to buy it.
Man, I put them X books down so long ago. Like the only thing, like I said, Shadow Man, that's from Valiant. Like I'm like that's some random. Before then, I was reading Felipe Smith's
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. Yeah. I got that even though that was ended. But I think my boy Black Ant Anthony Piper. I think Anthony Piper is working on like a special for Ghost Rider that's going to be coming out.
Good for him.
So yeah, it's pretty dope. It's looking pretty good. And on top of, to end this with all the Black Week news, don't forget that Black Panther is going to be coming out on Black History Month. That's going to be black. Yeah.
Yes. That especially with the cast that they have, which I literally believe everybody black in Hollywood got a call.
Yeah,
like everybody and their mama.
Well, I think because I said this a long time ago when Joe Quesada was still tap dancing around the fact that they weren't doing a Black Panther movie. Yeah, I said that. They knew, because I said it to my friend, they realized that this is a movie that they cannot screw up. Like, so I think, well, at least at that point in time, they probably felt, you know what? Let's not even touch it. Because if we mess this up, we ain't never going to hear the end of this joint.
Well, they also had to, because they offered it to Ava, and Ava was like, no, thank you. Because she is too individualistic with the choice she makes to play along with anything. Whereas Ryan Coogler, he worked inside the Rocky continuity to make this amazing Creed film.
Yep.
So he can work inside an existing continuity. He advised them on stuff for Panther, for Civil War. He was like, no, here's what the line needs to say. So he's in the game and he's in it to play in a big way. And he's got Lupita, he's got Boyega, he's got Chadwick, he's got.
And we're finally going to see Lupita's face, because, and I'm not going to go there. We're almost at the end of the show. I'm not going to go there. I do have an issue with her getting a lot of roles, but for some reason we can't see her face. But
she's making you didn't read that article? She made that a choice.
Oh, word? Oh.
She said that her role in 12 Years a Slave was so much about her body that she wanted to be recognized for more than just this physicality of her.
Okay.
She's the style icon. She's on Vogue and she's all that blah blah. But when she did the mocap for Maz Kanata for Force Awakens, she was like, I wanted them to look at me as an actress beyond this physicality that people are attracted to or whatever.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, when they weren't, 5 years ago. So,
Okay. Good point. Because I thought it was a situation where the basic establishment may have felt threatened by the beauty of something that is considered other. But, I retract my previous statement and reserve my judgment.
All right.
But I think it's gonna be dope, man. Like it looks like they have the character down, so I'm all in for that. I'm really all in for that. So
# Black Panther so lit.
Word up. Well, man, it was great catching up with you, man. This is a giant issue. We rocked it out. Last time I was on the phone this long doing an interview was like with Atomic Podcast, so this was good. We covered a lot of stuff.
I'm happy to help.
Word up. Well, any shout outs that you got before we get out of here?
Just that they can find me online at HannibalTabu.com. That's also Hannibal Tabu on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr. My weekly webcomic, Project Wildfire, Enter Project Torrent, is available every Wednesday, Wildfire Wednesday, on operative.net. And on July 13th, Aspen Universe Sourcebook will be coming out to support the Aspen Universe Revelations event, where for the first time, Fathom, Soulfire, and maybe more will be coming together. And I hope to have more news to announce to people at San Diego.
What up, what up? Yeah, I'm going to be down there, man. I'll see you. I'll be down there. I think I'm heading down there Friday morning.
I'll be down there Wednesday night. I'll be waiting.
Oh, man. See, y'all, man, I'm telling you, can't tell y'all nothing. Be down there on Wednesday, man. But yeah, I'll be down there.
Took the day off of work. I'll probably start driving in like the afternoon this time, because normally I wait until after traffic dies down. But I'm gonna just say whatever. I'm gonna probably leave at like 2.
Well, yeah, I'll be down there on movie chores and stuff, holding it down on the movie side. Well, of course, there's tons of comics, but I'll be down there on the movie side, and I guess maybe a little TV, since TV's starting to show up. But
they're screening something. I believe either Star Trek or Suicide Squad is screening at out behind Hall H this year.
Ooh, okay, cool. I had to see if I could peep that out. If I don't see
Get your sleeping bag.
If I don't see it,
get your sleeping bag. Yeah, it's good. You're going to have to camp out for that one, player.
Oh boy. But of course, we thank you guys for listening. This is Chopping It Up Geek with your boy Late Ill Kid at OneYoungsta. Of course, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And you can catch me on the interwebs at lateillkid.com, at OneYoungsta everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And of course, VA, stay strong. LA, what up? And I forgot, Hannibal, where you from?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee, stay strong, y'all. Of course, stay real. Peace.